So, real quick, on that move, I had someone ask a good question. Actually, I had two good questions. Number one, they said, well, the ref gonna know he's on his back, okay? This is one of those situations that, no one else does it, so the ref might actually be like, I don't know what's going on right there. I'm not sure who to call, who to call points for. And so that's, Max had it happen a couple times where the ref was just looking at him, and I'm like, the dude can't get off his back, come on. And so, as a wrestler, you got to be aware of what you're doing. You got to talk to my senior year at Nationals in 2-2 on the third period, and then go to your back. And then I got Keith right here in this position, and I had him held, and I had him here for like 10 seconds, and the ref was just looking at him. And then I'm like, ref, you can't go anywhere. You got to start counting. And then the ref looked at it, and he's like, oh, I guess you can't go anywhere. And then the ref started counting, And I got my back point. So sometimes as a wrestler, you got to be, aware of where the ref's at, and what, that he's not aware of the situation. You got to make him realize what's really going on, right? What is that? Okay. So as a wrestler, that's a position where you're gonna do it. You got to make the ref aware, because he might not know what's going on. You might be sitting there holding him for 10 seconds. He goes, your ref, I got him. He can't go anywhere. The ref might start counting. Okay. And then the second good question was, someone asked, are they going to bail out? Okay. I pride myself on being a very knowledgeable and intelligent and intuitive wrestler, and I'm telling you, Max got me on this a bunch of times. Why did he get me? Because I've never seen it before, right? I've never seen anyone do this move. I didn't see it coming, and he got me. Okay, now once he's done it to me 10 times, I realize what's happening, and I don't even go to Peterson because I know what's going to happen. But high school wrestlers around the area, they've never seen this happen before. I mean, if I've never seen it before, I know they haven't, right? So they're thinking, in their head, they're like, I'm getting back points, boom, and then all of a sudden they're on their back. There's going to be no chance for them to bail out at all because, it's hard avoiding something that you don't know is coming. So, that's what happened, when I was in college, it happened a lot of scrambles. A lot of scrambles people never saw before, so they didn't want to bail out. And then a lot of times they ended up in cradles or Petersons or on their back in lots of different bad positions. So, yeah, and maybe like 12 years down the road, they'll know to bail out, but not this year. Okay? So, yes, that was a good question too. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up by talking with you guys. Number one, I want to reinforce the point I made in the last session that I showed you guys a lot of scrambling, and I love scrambling. But scrambling, being a scrambler has got a lot of people in trouble. You can't be a scrambler, you got to be a full wrestler, okay? You got to be able to do it all. You got to be able to shoot, you got to be able to defend basics, you got to be able to get off bottom, you got to go right on top. And then scrambling is like icing on the cake because it's something that a lot of people don't have, so once you have it, it kind of, reinforces everything else that you're good at. But don't go out there and try to force scrambles that aren't there because it's just going to get you in trouble. And then your coach will be like, that scrambling stuff sucks, what are you doing? And, you probably shouldn't have scrambled there. You probably should have just falled on him or whatever, right? So you gotta go in the order, head, hands, hips, then scrambling, okay? And so really, really don't force it. Okay, second thing I want to talk about is, I went over a lot of stuff today. I mean, we were only here, right around 4 hours, so we went a lot of technique, and you guys are pretty new. You saw us, do a lot of things. But me showing you something once, if you don't write it down, if you don't write it on your phone, if you don't drill it over and over again, you're not going to remember in February when the state tournament or in April when there's the next one. You're not going to remember it. Okay, it's just it's just the human body. You need to do something and think about something over and over and over again before it becomes natural to do. Okay, so that's the number one thing. I see people waste opportunities. They come to camp and they see something, and then they're like, oh, that was an awesome move. I can use that, but they don't bother writing it down. And then 2 weeks down the road, they're like, what was that thing I learned at camp? It was really good, but I can't remember what it was. And so, essentially your whole day is wasted. You might as well stay home and watch the Ravens if you're not going to go home and write it down or put it on your iPhone or however you do to remember stuff. Okay, so really gotta figure out some ways to remember everything we showed because there was a lot of stuff, and if you don't, waste your day if you don't take home something from the day that you learned. Okay. All right. We all good on that one? Yeah? Everyone's going to do it? Homework? Parents, you heard that. There's a lot of parents here, so you guys are going to get that enforced on you today. All right? Alright, so last thing, and this is kind of, for me, I think it's more important than all the technique I showed today, and it's something I try to tell every the kids that I go, when I travel around and I teach the clinics, I try to get. And the general message I try to give is that wrestling is one of the few sports where you have an opportunity to be as great as possible. I mean, you see Jordan Burroughs in the wall, he's a world champion, obviously. You know, Kerry Collette's an Olympian. You know, I'm an Olympian, and some of us had really great starts, okay? Some of us were, I see Chance Marcel's picture on the wall. Some of us were Chance Marcel when we were kids, okay? Me, I was 0-2 at Fargo my first year, okay? I don't know what you guys, but I wasn't that good, okay? When I was his age, I barely knew how to wrestle, okay? I wrestled, but I was terrible. I didn't win a match for like the first 3 years, okay? And I was awful. And then when I started wanting to play 6 or 7, I was 12, I started taking more seriously, I slowly got better and better, but I still struggled at times. And, you know, and somewhere in there, 13, 14, 15, I decided I wanted to be really, really good at the sport, okay? And even going into my senior year, I won 2 state titles in my senior year. I ended up winning the junior nationals, so I thought, you know, that's a really big deal for me. It's something I had a goal of, and I felt like, hey, I made it. But at the same time, so then we fast forward 5 years later, you know, like Coach told you, I won 2 Hodge trophies, which is the best college wrestler, any weight, any division. I ended up making the Olympic team. I won 2 Chalices for best pinner. I won 87 matches in a row. So I mean, I did pretty much everything there was to do in college wrestling. I mean, anything that someone can accomplish, I accomplished it in the last couple of years of college. Okay, so I'm getting ready to leave college. Okay, leave the NCAA tournament my senior year. I was there. I won my 2nd title. I got 4 pins that tournament. And this coach comes up, he's from Duke. Okay, and what do you guys know about Duke wrestling? They're not good. They're really bad, right? Okay, so I've got some intelligent wrestlers here. I got the answer yesterday, actually, and I was really happy. Most people are like, I don't know anything about Duke. I'm like, that's the point. You don't know anything because they suck. Okay? So, the coach from Duke comes up to me, and when I was a senior in high school, I really wanted to wrestle in college, but I was, you know, kind of recruited by some schools, but I wasn't like, you know, one of those kids that every coach in the nation is calling. You know, I got a few calls, so I sent out a lot of tapes to different coaches because I wanted, you know, I knew I wanted to go somewhere. And so the coach of Duke comes to me and says, well, we got these sheets, and we get a tape in. We watch the tape, we write down comments about the wrestler, and then we decide whether we want to recruit him or not. And he said, so I was cleaning out my desk, and ironically, I found your sheet from when you were senior in high school, some senior college, 5 years later, right? And he said, I read your sheet, and your sheet said, too slow, not strong enough, not athletic enough to wrestle in college. That's Duke, right? That's Duke, okay? And so, even once I thought I was pretty good, there were still people that were thinking, this dude sucks. He ain't never gonna make it, right? And not only did I do okay in college, I excelled in college. I did really, really well. And so, you know, that's my point is, I sucked when I was a little kid. I was 0-2 at Fargo as a freshman. Even when I thought I was really good as a senior, there were still college coaches from bad schools saying he's never going to be any good in college. And I ended up doing really great things. So all of us, you know, anyone in here, whether you're really good today or you're not really good today, doesn't mean 5 years, 10 years down the road you can't be something really special. And there's not a lot of sports in America that have that ability. I mean, this is one of the very few, so you really got to realize the opportunity and the chance you have in front of you, and you got to take advantage of it. Now, the other side of that coin is wrestling is one of the toughest sports in the world, and if you want to make those high levels, there's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations, and it's going to be really, really hard, and not a lot of people are willing to put forth all that effort, you know, willing to try to get that far, you know, with the possibility of failure. But it's there, and you can't say that about football. You know, in football, we all know there's physical limitations. I couldn't be in the NFL. I could work as hard as I want, and I'm not going to the NFL. I can play as much basketball as I want, I'm not going to the NBA, okay? Right? And so there's physical limitations on the sport, but wrestling is not that physical limitation. And so, you know, I hope you guys have really realized the opportunity you have in front of you. And you guys, I mean, even better than most people, you got a great training facility, you got good coaches, you train year round. So, I mean, you guys are giving extra on top of, you know, everyone else. I tell everyone they can make it, but you guys already kind of got to step up on everyone because you have this great training facility to use year round. So, that's the message I like to give. You know, it really is achievable if you want to do it. You just got to kind of put your mind to it and decide you want to do it. It ain't going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. That's for sure. So, I think we got about 5-10 minutes left. I want to open up for questions. So, anything you guys want to ask of me about wrestling, training.